Well, this is just awesome. Jamie Raskin is nicely responding to the constant, nonstop obsession by the right with Hunter Biden with a proposal or something that he's going to do. And it is pretty much saying, all right, you are concerned, apparently, right wing, with the family of powerful people, namely presidents, benefiting from that situation. And that's interesting. Let's talk about it, okay? Because there's this family that I know of, the Trump family, that benefited so much and so much more than Hunter Biden could have ever dreamed of from Donald Trump's presidency. Now, let me always say, don't you dare click off of this before you hear this message. It is important that we don't by itself base our argument on calling out hypocrisy. That's not okay on its own, because Trump could be caught up in wrongdoing and Biden could be caught up in wrongdoing, or Trump's family could have benefited in ways that we feel are inappropriate and Biden's family could have. So we have to individually deal with the cases, make the arguments, and then also it's nice to recognize when dishonesty is present through the lens of someone's hypocrisy. So we've gone through extensively why obviously Hunter Biden benefited from nepotism in the sense that his name was beneficial. Obviously, the fact that he was the son of someone like President Biden likely benefited him in business in all these different sectors of life, similar to how prominent people in Hollywood, their children do a lot better, and prominent people in all facets of life, their children are much more likely to do better. That's the reality we're in. It's unfortunate, but it is. What is important about Biden, President Joe Biden, is did he engage in wrongdoing? Did he change U.S. policy toward a particular country because of the stance of his son? Did he talk about business with his son? And time again, we've extensively walked through how Biden, at least there hasn't been evidence brought forward that proves he engaged in wrongdoing, even though his son absolutely was wanting people to perceive him as having these connections because of who his dad was, right? But when talking about President Biden or potential crimes, you have to be clear, no evidence has been brought forward to these narratives that Republicans have been pushing. So with that in mind, we go through individually the case. It's not just about hypocrisy, accusations. It's also interesting to point out the hypocrisy. As Daily News reports, as GOP attacks Biden's Representative Jamie Raskin promises report on foreign government emoluments to Trump. Amid GOP howls over the Hunter Biden case, lawmakers are scrutinizing former President Donald Trump's business dealings during his time in office. Jamie Raskin said on Sunday, quote, "We're going to release a report about all of the foreign government emoluments, millions of dollars we can document that Donald Trump pocketed at the hotels, at the golf courses, and business deals when he was president and that his family got." So this is super interesting because originally the Republican story that was being told was, we're concerned because we think there's credible bribery accusations against Biden. He directly was bribed. And then some of them are kind of realizing, okay, shoot, that's not true. We can't find evidence of that actually happening. So maybe we'll just say the big issue that should reflect really poorly on Biden is, sure, he wasn't necessarily, we can't prove he was acting to benefit his son, and the one major policy that he pushed for, or the one major action that he pushed for when it came to a situation that involved a business that his son was in actually hurt the business or was something the business didn't want. But okay, let's just set that aside and just point out that Hunter Biden probably benefited from his last name and wanted people to buy into this perception of him. Oh, Hunter Biden, son of Joe Biden. Look at that. Even if we can't prove any direct connection between the business dealings of Hunter Biden and Joe Biden's actions in any way. But our issue is, and Biden's bad because Hunter Biden benefited from his last name, maybe? Does that work? That's kind of what it shifted to now. So of course, it's hard not to go, we could have a whole separate conversation about Hunter Biden. And I wish people were just really high character and would avoid getting into any situation that could even appear like you're benefiting from your dad. All of that, I totally. But if you're going to pretend to be concerned about Hunter Biden, let's talk about children benefiting from their father being president or being powerful. Los Angeles Times reports Trump's children take in millions overseas as president slams Biden's son. Open secrets. Trump himself made more than $200 million from foreign business interests since 2016 while he was president. Forbes estimates China paid Trump at least $5.4 million since he took office. And then New York Times reports 6 months after leaving the White House, Jared Kushner secured a $2 billion investment from a fund led by the Saudi Crown Prince, a close ally during the Trump administration, despite objections from the fund's advisor about the merits of the deal. Merits of the deal don't exactly add up, but the relationship was able to be cashed in on with the Saudi Crown Prince and others. And then The Guardian, Ivanka Trump's fashion and homewares business received initial approval from the Chinese government for 5 trademark applications days before her father announced a U-turn in policy on ZTE. If you had something like this on Joe Biden, the right wing's minds would explode. A Chinese telecoms firm that has admitted breaking U.S. sanctions on Iran and North Korea. Forbes reports the Chinese government granted a total of 41 trademarks to companies linked to Ivanka Trump by April of 2019, and the trademark she applied for after her father became president got approved about 40% faster than those she requested before Donald Trump's victory in the 2016 election. Yeah. So we can talk about children benefiting. I don't know if that's beneficial because we have to talk about all the children, and Hunter Biden has benefited a whole lot less. But still, I'm, as I said previously, totally okay saying it's aggravating that this is the way the world works. If you have a name that's recognizable, that is connected to a powerful person, people are going to assume that maybe you have the connections and you could influence them. And even if the person whose name you hold doesn't do anything wrong, it can still appear aggravating. And I totally am not opposed to having that conversation with honest people. But those attacking Biden aren't being honest about it. And they're accusing him of things, I should say, way beyond what there's any evidence of him engaging in. Because actually, him saying he wasn't aware of the business dealings of his son, didn't talk about them, wasn't in on them, has time and time again not been contradicted by the evidence. And they keep claiming otherwise, which that's the story in my mind. The dishonesty is the story as of now. So because of that dishonesty, we can't get to an honest conversation about, do we want to add more requirements around what your children can and can't do, or would that be overstepping, or should we just want our leaders to do different things in regard to their family? And that's completely an irrelevant conversation as of now, because first we have to debunk the constant dishonest talking points. And thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a part of what makes this show possible, plus get access to the full video version of the show hours before all the clips are able to be uploaded to the YouTube channel, plus get the bonus show on the weekends, you can do so by going to lukebeasleyshow.com/membership. That's lukebeasleyshow.com/membership, and there's a link in the description.